All right, I am starting the recording. Today is July 9th, 2020. This is SIG Instrumentation bi-weekly meeting. Welcome. It looks like we have a single item on the agenda today. I do not know who put it there.
Sorry, I did. And just thinking about it, it probably would have been useful if I had invited Solly, actually. But so this is a component that Solly initially created. This is the Prometheus adapter for the various metrics APIs that we have in Kubernetes. So this is an adapter to serve the resource metrics API, the custom metrics API, as well as the external metrics API. And we thoroughly use this at Red Hat, for example, and we know there's a big community of people using this out there. And we've had it multiple times that we've had the situation multiple times where people were like saying or questioning whether this is equally official as any other adapter, seemingly only because it's under Solly's user. I have discussed this with Solly before, and he was happy to move the repo. Obviously, I would double check this again if we were to decide to adopt this project. But that's essentially my proposal, that we adopt this project, especially because pretty much every maintainer of this repo is already part of SIG Instrumentation. Yeah.
So, point of context that not everyone might have, but Solly's actually on my team, so I can actually just talk to them today. I'm sure it's fine. There's a couple difficulties about transferring stuff, but given the license of the thing, it may be slightly legally more convenient if we just created a SIG instrumentation repo and maintained a fork, and then had Solly update this one with some README that says this one is no longer being maintained. Please use the other one.
We have a Lily. You can also just speak up. Lily wrote something in the chat.
She can't.
Oh.
Okay. Oh. I mean, she asked, where would we move this to? Which org? I mean, my proposal would be the Kubernetes 6 org, because that's where everything goes, I believe. Regarding the legal things, I mean, obviously I'm no lawyer, but I would assume that this has to do with Google, essentially. My understanding is that Solly created this, all of this, before joining Google. And so I would assume that this is probably not an issue, but again, I don't know if that's the actual thing that we would be referring to, but yeah, I mean, I guess all that we need to answer within this group is whether we would be okay with adopting this project as a SIG project. I just wanted to kind of sense the room, and if people think this is something that we could do, then I would send a formal request to the mailing list. Sorry, someone's ringing my door. I'll be right back.
So it occurs to me that, you know, it would probably only be worth taking on if we could have somebody volunteer to be the sub-project lead for it, because otherwise we're just going to be in the exact same position that we are today, which is sort of this unmaintained repo. So if someone wants to maintain the K8s Prometheus adapter, then I think it would make sense. But I should probably leave this for when Frederick is here, because I sense Frederick may have an opinion. What does everyone else think about that? Does that sound reasonable, or?
Yeah, I think it's been largely just sitting around there. Like we definitely want to find someone who can kind of like shepherd this in a more hands-on way, probably going forward. I know that like we had a couple of discussions around also taking the adapter to kind of like a CRD based approach in the future, and like a couple of conversations. So I'm definitely not in the position to kind of like do it. I know a few people, but I also don't want to like throw them under a bus right now. So I would need to double check, and maybe like Frederick, as we just said, knows more. Yeah, but like definitely, like from our side, we're interested in like keeping the component updated, and it's like essentially also a crucial part of the OpenShift stack that we ship. So we're definitely interested in kind of like maintaining Prometheus adapter going forward. Was the question, Frederick? Like who would kind of be able to shepherd this? And I think we still have somewhat like need for it to be. So I don't know if like anyone from our team can specifically shepherd this, but we definitely wanna go with it into the future.
Lily typed in sir, I think.
Yes, so Sergiusz is, I guess, the main maintainer of this. The thing is, the component is fairly feature complete, with a caveat of there is a larger refactoring planned. But like right now, it's just not a priority for us to work on those features. But in itself, the component is pretty stable, and like it's updated every now and then when there's a new Kubernetes version or something, right? Like there's not much to it right now. It's just that people would like to see it in the more official space. And since we are already SIG Instrumentation members, we feel like it's a valid space to live in.
Yeah, that sounds good. How about we take how about I talk to Solly today, and then I can see if there is if there's any roadblocks there. And then if not, then I can just create a SIG instrumentation repo and just push the thing there, and then ask Solly to update the repo.
As for if there's an alternative, so right now, like there's the metric server, which like obviously doesn't talk to Prometheus, and then there are some other adapters for like cloud provider specific metrics, but there isn't really an alternative that kind of like implements the API from like the API service interface for metrics that would then talk to Prometheus. So it's basically that one component that talks. Like that's the glue between Prometheus and the metrics APIs in Kubernetes.
We should document that. Is that documented? Yeah. We should put that in the README for that thing.
So like my question is, like SIG Instrumentation already maintains the library. The question is, should the integration into specific components be justified to move into like Kubernetes, like SIG Instrumentation in Kubernetes, instead of like to give it to Prometheus community? Like, what does it make? Like, I know that the component itself like would be good to build people trust, but the question is, who is better here to handle like the
No, that's a great question. There is precedent for stuff like this, and I can, in API machinery, the way that we do clients is it's basically a little bit of both. There are officially supported API machinery clients like the Python REST client, or the Python client Go client, Kubernetes client. There's also client Go. You know, there's certain languages which are supported. So that's basically like this, right? Like a Python client for the API server is basically one implementation of that interface, right?
Yeah, I think the same question we could ask on the Prometheus side, right? Like the Prometheus side could say the same thing, and then we end up in kind of a undefined situation. right?
But this is specifically a Kubernetes thing.
That's the point where I was getting to. Like, this component is almost like 95% just Kubernetes style code, right? And so that's why I feel it makes most sense in SIG instrumentation.
Yeah, Prometheus. This is an implementation of Prometheus just because it uses Prometheus doesn't mean Prometheus should maintain it. This has like Kubernetes specific stuff. So like probably the best mental model for this is like there's going to be categories of things that people bolt on top of instrumentation, such that there's like third-party libraries that people use, or somebody just writes in a personal repo. But if it achieves a certain level of traction, then as a community, we should probably say we are officially supporting this thing. This is the one that you should use. You can use other ones, like that's fine, but they're just not supported by the community.
Yeah, I don't mean to promote this in any way here, like and say that like this is better than metric server or something, right? Like that's not what we're trying to do here at all.
It's a binding.
Yeah, exactly. It's a shim.
Yeah. I think it's fine. It's just like, I mean, the fact that API machinery has multiple clients and that we maintain multiple clients doesn't mean that like one should use Python or Go. That's not like, that subjective claim is not being made. It's just, these are things you can do. These are things that you can use, and we will support these official ones.
Okay. I mean, I'd be interested to hear someone else's opinion as well, but it seems like I can go ahead and at least write that email to the mailing list, and we can have the formal conversation then.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our only item. Today's also code freeze. Oh yeah, that's right. Elena will be sort of on soft hiatus for like the next month or so, if people are wondering. She has notified us in advance of her, she has a lot on her plate. So it's a difficult time, I think, for everyone. So yeah, does anyone have any other things that we should possibly? Oh.
Yeah, I quickly put something there, kind of like hijacking it, but as you are asking, I don't feel that bad now. So essentially there was this issue about like making the API server request metric stable, and I commented a couple of weeks ago. I'm just wondering if there's anything to be done on that issue.
So yeah, so I have actually been thinking about this. I have not had the bandwidth, but I am planning on thinking about this more. But we have a bit of time before 120 now, the code freeze. So
yeah, sure. I just no activity there, so I just wanted to follow up. Like if it's still on your radar and you just didn't have the bandwidth, then that's totally fine. I just wanted to check in, kind of.
Yeah. Give me. I can't say that I will have time in the next one, but in a month I should be able to have something, and then maybe we should just discuss it offline, because I am like, your use case is also interesting, because I'm sure we have different things in mind when we are thinking about our concerns for this thing, and it seems like you may have some insights that I do not.
Yeah, I think in general, this is a really good discussion to have offline. I think we can just start a Google Doc and kind of start hashing out how, because I think a really large part of before we wanted to do this, we wanted to review once again the set of labels that are on these metrics. Last time we even considered maybe we will only have the latency metrics because they already contain counts. Those kinds of discussions we can have in a doc. I think we don't necessarily have to have that in person, I think. And then we can kind of lay out the things that we're trying to solve with each of these.
Sounds good from my side. I just saw it in the agenda from like 2 meetings ago and remembered about this. I just wanted to follow up. No pressure.
No, I thank you for reminding me. I have been meaning to do it, but I have been overwhelmed as well with things lately. So, okay, so then I guess we can give everybody 15 minutes of their lives back. Yay! All right. Well, I will see everyone in 2 weeks then. Thank you for joining us.
Yep. Happy code
Thanks,
freeze.
everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.